Hyundai has been telling us for ages that it's moving up market, and now it's proved it in the most obvious way by putting up the price of its vehicles. This is the new Santa Fe, and it'll cost you about £3 more than the old Santa Fe. So is it worth the extra dosh?
For the way it looks, the answer has to be yes, even in this boring maroon paint. In black or white, this thing really has the style to cut the mustard, both on the school run and at the races. But the Santa Fe doesn't only look good, it's very practical too. The boot is huge. There's no load lip to lift things over, and the seats split 3 ways to leave you with an almost completely flat load bay.
Here in the second row seats of the Santa Fe, there's plenty of room for adults. Now you can slide the seats forward if you need more boot space than what I showed you a moment ago, or all the way back for more leg room. You can also recline the seat backs, and look, they go quite far back, don't they, if you fancy a snooze. We haven't got time for that now though, because I need to point out that this car is quite wide, so it's okay for seating 3 abreast here in the middle row. And if you do get the middle seat, don't worry too much, because well, the floor's almost completely flat, so yes, you do have somewhere to put your feet. Now, if there's only 2 of you, what I suggest you do is fold down this central armrest. And I want to show you this actually, because look at the damped effect of the cup holders. That's the kind of damped effect you get on premium cars, and it's probably where some of your extra £3,000 has gone.
Storage in the front of the Santa Fe is impressive, especially the cavernous central cubby. And as you'd expect from a Hyundai, equipment is generous too. The entry-level model gets stuff like Bluetooth, parking sensors and voice control, but this mid-spec premium version has all you could ever need, like heated leather seats, touchscreen sat-nav and a reversing camera.
It may be big, but the new Santa Fe is actually very easy to drive in town. You've got large back windows, some sizable door mirrors, and because you sit up high, you can see over other traffic. It's also quite easy to make low-speed manoeuvres because of the flex steer steering. Now, if I put the steering into comfort mode, it lightens it, and so you can actually turn the wheel, look, there we go, using your fingertips. Excellent. Once you've made your way out of the town and got onto some open roads, you can then put the adjustable steering into sports mode, and that makes it feel heavier and, well, supposedly sportier. Personally though, I just prefer normal mode, as it's the best balance between comfort and sport, and is perfectly adequate for most kinds of driving situations. And speaking of which, this car actually handles pretty well. In fact, Hyundai have set up the suspension specifically for our rather poor British roads, and as a result the ride is a little bit on the firm side, but while it doesn't float exactly like some other SUVs, it's not too bad.
As before, the Santa Fe is available with all-wheel drive, and it comes with stuff like hill descent control and central differential lock, which locks the front and rear wheels together to improve traction when the going gets a bit tough. However, for the first time, a 2-wheel drive version model is also available, and that one can do 48 miles per gallon.
That brings me on to the engine. There's only one. It's a 2.2 diesel, and most of the time it's got plenty of performance. It is actually quite quick when you're on the move. However, it does suffer from turbo lag, and you really have to keep the engine above 1500 RPM, because if you drop below that, you have to ensure you're in the right gear, otherwise you'll start floundering, and that can be problematic when you're pulling away from junctions, such as now. Yeah, third is definitely a bad idea here. Come on, I think we need second. That's better.
You may think you can solve this problem with the automatic, but it makes the car even more sluggish and increases the emissions, and so costs more in road tax. As for the downsides, well, there's the interior. It's actually very nice and quality is impressive. The problem is that it doesn't feel any more special sitting inside the Santa Fe than it does inside the i30, and you expect it would, considering this is Hyundai's flagship model.
Then there's the back seats. First off, it's a bit of a hassle getting to them because, well, you've not got much of a gap in which to squeeze through. Probably not so bad if you're a child. And I'll actually admit that legroom when you pull the seat back is actually okay, but Oh, headroom's not, look, I mean, I'm really cramped, so I think larger children will really struggle back here. And anyway, most kids will start to whinge if they're having to go a long journey in the very rear of this car because, well, they've just got that little porthole to see out of. Really, if you want to carry 6 passengers regularly, just bite the bullet and get a proper MPV, like I say, at Alhambra. However, those rear seats, I guess, are okay for occasional use. If you don't need them, you can just save yourself some cash and get the 5-seater model. And I think overall, you'll be very happy with this car. It's extremely good. In fact, it's so good, I've made it all the way through a Hyundai review without having to mention their 5-year warranty. Oh.